Commander Mara Jang stood at the observation deck of Aegis Station Earth's orbital listening post. The year was 2217, and humanity had spent decades scanning the stars for signs of intelligent life. The vast silence had led many to believe we were alone in the cosmos. Mara didn't share that view. The universe was too expansive, too filled with possibilities to be empty of other thinking beings. The curved viewport revealed Earth below a blue and white marble, suspended in the black void. Humanity had finally achieved a tenuous peace after centuries of conflict, but the scars remained both on the planet's surface and in collective memory. "Commander," Lieutenant Ibrahim's voice broke through her contemplation. "You need to see this." Ibrahim was Aegis Station's senior signal analyst, a brilliant man whose intuition for patterns had earned him a reputation for finding meaning in cosmic noise. Today, his normally calm demeanor was shattered by barely contained excitement. "What have you found?" Mara asked, following him to the Xenocom's lab. "A pattern. Repeating sequence, artificial origin. It's coming from approximately 52 light-years away." Ibrahim displayed the signal on the holographic projector. "This isn't random cosmic background. The mathematical precision, the repetition, it's deliberate." Dr. Liu, the station's xenolinguist, was already at work analyzing the transmission. "The sequence contains what appears to be coordinates and a series of symbolic representations that could indicate distress," she said, without looking up from her work. "How confident are you this isn't an Earth-based prank?" Mara asked. They'd had false alarms before elaborate hoaxes that wasted valuable resources and damaged credibility. "The signal originates from beyond our solar system," Ibrahim insisted. "I've triple-checked the triangulation data, and it doesn't match any known human communication protocols." Mara studied the signal pattern, watching as it repeated with perfect precision. "Could it be some natural phenomenon we haven't catalogued?" "Possible, but extraordinarily unlikely," Dr. Liu replied. "The mathematical properties suggest intelligence." Mara felt a chill run through her body. If genuine, this was humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, and they were calling for help. "Prepare a comprehensive analysis," she ordered. "I need to present this to the Earth Unified Defense Council immediately." 3 days later, Mara stood before the council in Geneva. 12 representatives from Earth's major regions sat at a semicircular table, their faces showing varying degrees of skepticism and concern as she presented the findings. "We believe this is a distress call," Mara concluded. "The signal contains coordinates to a star system approximately 52 light-years from Earth." "And you're suggesting we respond?" Counselor Zhao asked, leaning forward. "Risk exposing ourselves to an unknown alien species?" "I'm suggesting we have an obligation to help," Mara replied. "If this is indeed a call for assistance—" "If," interrupted Counselor Williams. "We have no conclusive proof this isn't a trap or a misunderstanding. For all we know, we could be interpreting mathematical patterns as communication when they're simply natural phenomena." Admiral Reyes, the head of Earth's unified fleet, spoke up. "The risk assessment suggests that any civilization capable of interstellar communication would likely possess technology superior to our own. If they have hostile intentions, ignoring them won't protect us." The debate grew heated. Some council members advocated immediate preparation of a response fleet, while others insisted on caution, arguing that humanity should focus on its own recovery after generations of internal conflict. "We've only recently achieved peace among ourselves," Counselor Mbeki argued. "Are we ready to engage with alien civilizations when our own unity is so fragile?" Mara listened to the arguments, understanding both perspectives. Finally, she requested permission to speak. "Council members, throughout human history, we've defined ourselves by how we respond to calls for help. Whether across oceans or now across stars, our willingness to aid others despite risk reflects our highest ideals. If we ignore this call, what does that say about us?" The council deliberated for hours before finally reaching a decision. By a narrow margin, they voted to build an expeditionary fleet under Admiral Reyes' command. Humanity would answer the call. In the months that followed, Earth's orbital shipyards worked at unprecedented speed. Fusion-powered freighters were converted into warships, fitted with prototype fold space drives, developed from theoretical physics, but never tested beyond the solar system. Mara found herself assigned as communications director for the flagship the EDS Horizon. The mission was clear reach the source of the distress signal, render aid if possible, and establish first contact protocols. Not everyone supported the mission. Among the vocal opponents was David Zhang, Mara's twin brother, and a veteran of Earth's last major conflict. He had lost squad members on a previous alien signal investigation that turned out to be a sophisticated terrorist ploy. "You're risking humanity's future on a hunch," David argued during their last meeting before launch. They stood in the observation lounge of the orbital construction facility, watching as the final components of the Horizon were assembled. "It's more than a hunch," Mara insisted. "The signal contains mathematical constants that transcend human language. It's intelligent and non-human. Even if it is alien, have you considered they might view us as threats? We evolved on a death world, Mara. Earth's gravity, atmospheric pressure, radiation levels, predators by galactic standards. We might be terrifying." "Or exactly what they need," Mara countered. "If they're calling for help, our death world adaptations might be advantages." David shook his head. "Just promise me you'll be careful. Don't trust blindly." "I promise," she said, embracing her brother. "But someone has to reach out first." Aboard the Horizon, Dr. Liu had made a breakthrough in translating components of the alien message. "They call themselves the Aurasi," she explained to the command staff during their final briefing. "Based on recurring patterns in the transmission, they appear to be a non-aggressive, possibly communal society. Their distress signal indicates some form of external threat, though the specifics are unclear." Lieutenant Ibrahim had also joined the expedition. His expertise in signal analysis would be crucial for ongoing communication attempts. During one quiet moment in the ship's mess hall, he confided in Mara. "I volunteered for this mission to make amends," he said softly. "Amends for what?" Mara asked. "I was a communications specialist during the African resource wars. My intelligence analysis led to an operation that killed civilians. I need to use my skills to save lives, not end them." Mara nodded, understanding the weight of such guilt. Many aboard the expedition carried similar burdens, seeking redemption purpose, or simply a new beginning among the stars. As the 12-ship fleet prepared to depart Earth, Orbit Admiral Reyes addressed the crews via holographic projection. "We embark on humanity's first interstellar journey, not for conquest or exploration, but to answer a call for help. Remember your training, trust your comrades, and know that regardless of what we find, this day marks humanity's entrance onto the cosmic stage." With those words, the fleet engaged their fold space drives. The fabric of reality shimmered around them as the ship stretched and compressed through dimensions humans weren't evolved to perceive. Then, they were gone, leaving Earth behind, on humanity's most ambitious journey. The journey through fold space was not the instantaneous transportation some had hoped for. While it dramatically reduced travel time, the fleet still faced months of transit. During this time, the crews trained to analyze the alien signal for additional information and confronted the psychological challenges of deep space travel. Equipment failures plagued the hastily constructed vessels. The prototype fold space drives required constant monitoring and adjustment. Tension among crew members rose as the isolation of space travel weighed on their minds. Mara found herself experiencing vivid dreams and flashbacks to her youth in Singapore, particularly the food riots she had survived as a teenager. The memory of hunger, fear, and the struggle for survival haunted her sleep cycles. In one particularly tense moment, the fleet nearly collided with an uncharted asteroid belt hidden within a fold space distortion. Only quick reactions from the navigation teams prevented disaster. As communications director, Mara was responsible for maintaining morale through regular shipwide addresses and organizing virtual gatherings between vessels. But she struggled with her own doubts. The responsibility of serving as anchor for the fleet's first fold space jump had been placed on her shoulders, Her neural patterns would guide the synchronized jump. "I'm not qualified for this," she confessed to Ibrahim during one rare moment of vulnerability. "If I make a mistake, the entire fleet could be scattered across parsecs of space." "You were chosen because your neural architecture shows extraordinary spatial reasoning," Ibrahim replied. "The computer models predict you'll outperform any AI guidance system." "Computer models can't account for human error." "No, but they can recognize human potential. Trust yourself as we trust you." Those words carried her through the final preparations. When the moment came to initiate the synchronized jump that would bring them to the Orisi system, Mara sat in the neural interface chair electrodes, mapping her brainwaves as she visualized the destination coordinates. The jump was violent. Uncharted fold-space turbulence buffeted the fleet, causing structural damage to two vessels and temporarily disabling communications. But when reality stabilized around them, the fleet had arrived intact at their destination. Before them lay a world of stunning beauty, vast violet seas, interrupted by archipelagos of emerald land. Most remarkable were the floating biocities, enormous organic structures that hovered above the planet's surface, connected by gossamer bridges that glinted in the light of the system's blue-white star. "It's magnificent," Admiral Reyes whispered, standing beside Mara on the bridge. Initial scans revealed the planet to be slightly smaller than Earth, with lower gravity and a denser atmosphere rich in noble gases. But the fleet's attention was quickly drawn to the planet's largest moon, designated Ornis, in the Orisi transmissions. The moon showed signs of massive underground installations and, more ominously, evidence of recent weapons fire. "We're detecting artificial structures throughout the moon's subsurface," reported the sensor operator, "and what appears to be a battle in progress in orbit." The view screen magnified to show dark, angular ships surrounding the moon. Their design was distinctly different from the organic aesthetic of the Orisi structures. As they watched, energy weapons lanced from these ships toward the surface. "The distress call wasn't exaggerated," Mara said grimly. "They're under attack." Admiral Reyes took only seconds to make his decision. "All ships battle formations. We didn't come this far to watch a massacre. Communications attempt to hail both sides. Let's make our presence known." The 12 Earth vessels moved into defensive positions between the attackers and the moon. Mara broadcast a message on all frequencies, using mathematical sequences as a universal language, requesting communication and cessation of hostilities. The response was immediate and hostile. The alien vessels, now identified as belonging to a species calling themselves the Vorax, redirected their weapons toward the human fleet. "I guess that answers whether they're open to dialogue," Reyes observed dryly. "All ships' defensive countermeasures. Return fire only when directly threatened." The Vorax proved to be formidable opponents. Their ships moved with hive-like coordination, suggesting some form of collective consciousness. Energy weapons tore through the shields of two human vessels before the fleet could adjust their defenses. "They're targeting our communication arrays," Ibrahim noted. "They're trying to isolate us." The battle escalated quickly. Earth ships launched fighter squadrons while the larger vessels provided orbital bombardment against Vorax positions. Despite their technological edge, the human fleet had one crucial advantage: unpredictability. The Vorax, accustomed to the patterns of the Orisi defense, seemed momentarily confused by human battle tactics. Admiral Reyes ordered a ground insertion team to the moon's surface, aiming to make direct contact with the Orisi and secure their central installation, a crystal spire that appeared to be the focus of the Vorax attack. Mara volunteered to lead the team, her background in communications, making her the logical choice for first contact. "This isn't part of your job description, Commander," Reyes objected. "With respect, Admiral, it's exactly my job. We need to establish communication with the Orisi immediately, and I'm the most qualified person to do it." Reluctantly, Reyes approved the mission. Mara led a team of 20 specialists in a rapid descent to the moon's surface, their shuttle weaving through aerial combat to reach the entrance to the underground Orisi sanctuary. What they found inside defied expectation. The Orisi were approximately humanoid, but with translucent skin that pulsed with bioluminescence. Their eyes, 3 per individual, were large and lidless, adapted to the dim light of their underground havens. They reacted to the human arrival with initial fear, then cautious hope, as Mara displayed mathematical symbols from their distress signal. Dr. Liu, accompanying the ground team, worked feverishly with her translation algorithms to establish basic communication. The Orisi leader, identified as Envoy Kaylee, managed to convey the essence of their plight. The Vorax were not merely conquerors, but collectors. A biotechnological collective that harvested other species for genetic material and technological innovations, then eradicated the original civilization to maintain order in their expanding empire. They do not tolerate evolutionary diversity, Liu translated. The Orisi were targeted because of their bioluminescent communication abilities. The ground team was led deeper into the sanctuary where thousands of Orisi civilians sheltered. Their central crystal spire was revealed to be not merely a building, but a vast data repository containing their species' cultural and scientific knowledge, their civilization's legacy. Above, the space battle had reached a critical juncture. The human fleet was holding its own, but suffering damage. Then came the alarming news: the Vorax flagship had disengaged from the main battle and appeared to be activating a fold space jump sequence. "They're retreating," an officer reported. "No," Ibrahim said, studying the enemy ship's energy signatures. "They're not retreating. They're heading toward Earth." The realization struck like a physical blow. The Vorax had analyzed the human fleet's point of origin from their fold space signatures. They were planning to strike at Earth, while its defenders were light years away. "They consider us an evolutionary aberration," Dr. Liu explained, based on fragments of intercepted Vorax communications. "They call us Deathworlders, dangerous adaptations that must be purged before we spread." Admiral Reyes ordered immediate pursuit, but only the flagship Horizon had sufficient power reserves for another fold space jump. The rest of the fleet would need to remain to protect the Orisi. Ibrahim approached the admiral with a radical proposal. "The Vorax operate with a hive mind structure. If we could disrupt their central network hub, located on their flagship, we might disorient their entire collective." "You're suggesting a boarding action against an alien vessel?" Reyes asked incredulously. "I'm suggesting a targeted strike. I can rig a fold space drive component to create a localized rupture in their command center. It would sever their collective consciousness temporarily." "That's a suicide mission, Lieutenant." Ibrahim nodded solemnly. "I know, but Earth has no defenses against a Vorax attack. Millions will die." After a moment of heavy silence, Reyes authorized the plan. The Horizon would pursue the Vorax flagship through fold space, and Ibrahim would lead a small team to plant the improvised fold space detonator. When Mara learned of the plan, she immediately requested to join the boarding team, but Ibrahim refused. "You're needed here, Commander. If we fail, someone has to warn Earth." Their farewell was brief, but charged with emotion. In the short time they'd served together, a bond had formed between them. Perhaps friendship, perhaps something more that would now never have the chance to develop. As Ibrahim prepared to board the shuttle that would deliver his team to the Vorax ship, an unexpected arrival caught everyone by surprise. David, Zhang Mara's brother, emerged from a recently arrived supply vessel. "David, what are you doing here?" Mara asked in shock. "Following my sister into trouble as usual," he replied with a grim smile. "After you left, I convinced the Council that you needed reinforcements. I've brought 3 additional ships." Learning of Ibrahim's mission, David immediately volunteered. "I have extensive boarding action experience from the lunar conflicts." "This isn't your fight," Ibrahim objected. "It became my fight when they targeted my planet," David countered. "Besides, someone needs to make sure you get back alive." The mission proceeded with Ibrahim, David, and 4 specially trained operatives. Their shuttle, disguised with salvaged Vorax hull fragments, managed to breach the flagship's outer defenses during the confusion of fold space emergence near Saturn's orbit. Once aboard, they encountered an environment that defied human understanding: organic technology, fused with mechanical components corridors that seemed to pulse with collective consciousness. The Vorax themselves were revealed to be hybrid beings, part biological, part machine, connected through a neural network. The team fought their way toward the central command hub, planting charges to cover their eventual escape. But as they reached their target, they were discovered. In the ensuing firefight, 2 team members were killed and David was severely wounded. "Get him out of here," Ibrahim ordered the remaining operatives. "I'll finish the mission." "Ibrahim, you can't," David began, clutching his injured side. "I've programmed the detonator. Someone needs to ensure it integrates correctly with their systems. Now go." Reluctantly, the team retreated with the wounded David, while Ibrahim continued alone to the command center. There, surrounded by the alien biotechnology that coordinated the Vorax collective, he began the final preparations. Aboard the Horizon, Mara monitored the operation through David's helmet camera feed. She watched as her brother was dragged to safety, as Ibrahim worked methodically, despite alien sentinels closing in around him. "Ibrahim," she called through the comms. "The shuttle is waiting. You have 3 minutes." "Not enough time to integrate the detonator and escape," he replied calmly. "I need to manually synchronize with their neural network to ensure maximum disruption." "That's not the plan. Get out, now that's an order." Ibrahim's laugh was soft. "Sorry, Commander. You're breaking up." He was lying, they both knew it. "Remember what I told you about amends? I think this qualifies." The feed showed him connecting the detonator directly to the pulsing core of the Vorax command center, then linking its trigger to his own neural implant standard issue for human communications officers. "Ibrahim, please." "Tell the Oracy their call was answered," he said. "And Mara, in another life, I would have liked to see Earth again with you." The detonation created a localized fold space rupture, unlike anything theoretical physics had predicted. It tore through the Vorax flagship, severing the connections between the collective consciousness that bound their fleet together. Without their coordinating intelligence, the Vorax ships fell into disarray, their attacks becoming erratic and unfocused. The human reinforcements arrived just in time to drive off the remaining Vorax vessels. On the moon, Ornis the Oracy emerged from their underground sanctuaries to witness their attackers' retreat. The victory was costly. In addition to Ibrahim, 37 human crew members had died in the battle. David Zhang survived his injuries, but would require extensive medical treatment. 2 weeks later, as the fleet prepared for the journey home, the Oracy held a ceremony to honor the fallen humans. Their bioluminescent bodies created patterns of light that Dr. Liu translated as symbols of eternal gratitude. "They're calling us the Deathworlder Vanguard," she explained. "They believe our evolution on a high-gravity, high-radiation planet with aggressive predators made us uniquely suited to be defenders." Envoy Kaylee presented Admiral Reyes with a crystal containing Oracy knowledge of fold space mechanics technology that would advance human understanding by centuries. "They wish to form an alliance," Liu continued. "They say other species have also sent distress calls that went unanswered. They believe we could help create a network of mutual defense." Before departing the system, Mara recorded a message to be transmitted to Earth ahead of their return. "To the Earth Unified Defense Council, our mission to aid the Oracy civilization has concluded successfully. Lieutenant Ibrahim and 37 other crew members gave their lives to prevent an imminent attack on Earth. Their sacrifice saved not just our world, but established humanity as a defender species in our galactic neighborhood. The Oracy have shared technology and knowledge that will transform our understanding of space travel. More importantly, they've offered alliance and friendship. Our fight saved 2 worlds, now dozens call for aid. We are not alone in this universe, and we need not be alone in our commitment to defend life and freedom. The Oracy call us Deathworlders, but they mean it with respect. We evolved in harsh conditions that made us strong. Now that strength can protect those who cannot protect themselves. With the Council's approval, I recommend establishing a permanent diplomatic presence in the Oracy system and developing a response protocol for other distress signals we're now detecting. The stars are no longer silent. They're asking for our help. As the human fleet engaged their fold space drives for the return journey, Admiral Reyes showed Mara the astrographic chart. Across the mapped sectors of the galaxy, new SOS signals had begun appearing dozens of civilizations, reaching out, having witnessed the successful defense of the Orisi. "Seems we've been noticed," Reyes remarked. "For the right reasons," Mara replied, thinking of Ibrahim and the others who had given their lives. "We answered the call. That's what matters." David Zhang, still recovering in the medical bay, had requested to see the chart. When Mara brought a tablet showing the proliferating distress signals, he studied it quietly. "I was wrong," he finally said, "about this mission, about reaching out." "You were being cautious. That's not wrong," Mara replied. "No, but I've been thinking about what Ibrahim did. One person making a difference on a galactic scale." He gestured to the chart. "Each of those signals represents billions of lives. We can't help them all. We don't have to help them all at once. We just have to start somewhere." As the horizon accelerated through fold space, Mara returned to the observation deck, where she'd spent so many hours during the outbound journey. The view now was different, not the empty void she'd known before, but a universe filled with possibility, connection, and purpose. Humanity had evolved on a world that challenged them at every turn. They had survived predators, natural disasters, and their own destructive tendencies. Those harsh conditions had forged not monsters, but potential protectors, Deathworlders whose strength could now shield rather than threaten. The Orisi distress signal had not just been a call for help. It had been an awakening, a reminder that even across the vast distances between stars, compassion could bridge the void. Ibrahim had understood that truth deeply enough to give his life for it. As Earth grew closer, Mara prepared the fleet for their triumphant return. They carried with them not just advanced technology and the possibility of alliances, but a new understanding of humanity's place in the cosmos. They had been forged by adversity to become guardians of those who had evolved in gentler environments. The Deathworlders had arrived on the galactic stage, and their fleet was just the beginning.